Here we are with the new improved Dark Peak games, Andy and Mark. We're
Hello.
going to be answering questions about the wonderful world of mortal gods. So, we've already talked about it before, but everyone's going to say it's just Test of Honour. Why isn't it Test of Honour?
Well, it started as Test of Honour. It was going to be a Greek version of Test of Honour. We even called it Test of Courage to start with, and we've played that for some time, didn't we?
We did.
And then we began to realise the more we played, the more it didn't feel like a skirmish game in ancient Greece. So we went back to the drawing board, really, and we thought there's not enough bloodshed, there's not enough heroics. We need to really show that in the game. So we threw everything out bar the action, the turn sequence and drawing the actions out of the bag with the draw, which is something that I really liked from Test of Honour. And we used that as a basis, and we just built up from there. So it kind of has the same feel, I think. It's that kind of same fast-paced skirmish game with lots of character, but it's very bloody.
And I think the thing that I particularly enjoyed, and having played Test of Honour with you guys, that I've noticed, is it is a very different game, but on top of that, you've managed to imbue the whole thing with a whole bunch of Greek flavour. Yes. Maybe feta cheese, maybe something like that. But what could you explain how you've managed to put in the Greek flavour to the whole thing?
Yeah, there's some key elements that we needed to get. The Greeks are very superstitious, so as we still had the draw, we used the 3 tokens in the bag in the same way as Test of Honour, where the round ends. Yep. At the end of the third one being drawn out, but something has to happen at each of those times. So for this game, we actually created omens. The Greeks are very superstitious, and you draw an omen card, and that actually has an impact on the game. You know, maybe a vulture flies the wrong way across the battlefield, or there's a reflection in the water, or there's a blood moon or something, and it'll resonate around the battlefield. So that's really giving it that kind of Greek feel. The actual heroes are, I would say, they're still skilled in war.
Very skilled, yeah.
But unlike samurai, who you see it as an art, these guys are just about, destruction. So you would get them in there, they get in there fast, and there's none of this, I've fumbled, I've missed or anything. You damage or you be damaged. Mm-hmm. That's a massive difference in the game. Obviously,
but they can. Because they've got more actions, they can command as well.
So
they have that. They are leaders of the Lochagos, so they are actually there pushing their troops around, making the guys do what they want, as well as being killing machines in their own right. So they have to be. They're the balance between the strong leadership and the strong fighting skills. Yes,
and with that, it's created a whole Greek force instead of like I'd say a war band of individuals. We had to have this ability of forming up into a group of some sort. It was a very symbolic way that the Greeks fought. They line up in big phalanxes and walk towards each other and push and fight. To be honest, I find that quite boring. But I love the look of these of hoplites. So we wanted to get that kind of flavour in. So we've allowed them to form up in using 3 bases. I have called it a phalanx, so I'm sure I'm going to get some hate mail, as you do.
Called demi-phalanx.
Demi-phalanx, yeah. But it's a way of delivering your men across the table and getting them into combat.
And everyone understands what a phalanx is.
Totally.
If you know anything about ancient Greece, you get that.
And do you know what? We tried to come up with a different name for it. We just couldn't. And in the end, it was just, let's just call it phalanx. Be damned. We may as well be damned for it.
Now, this is a very card-driven game, which are useful in terms of recording the stats and things like that. You're also kind of known for card-driven games.
Yep.
So in the same way that everybody was a little bit concerned about collecting their Gangs of Rome cards.
Yes.
You get a lot of cards in the box.
Yeah.
It's a different sort of feel to that, though, isn't it?
Totally different.
There's no individual characters, etc.
Well, in the box, there's 98 recruitment cards. Mm-hmm. They're the same cards in every box, and what we've tried to do is give enough choice for two forces in there. and extras. So if you've got some, we've all got some Greeks or some Peltas or some slingers we want to, extra guys we want to bring in, there's cards for them in there. So that's away you go. So the cards are the roster cards. So instead of having a big roster sheet, you build your force using the cards, and then they become receptacles to put your actions on and your damage dice on.
You could always sell a guess who type thing. That
We can too, yeah.
Knock them down.
Knock them down as they die, yeah.
We're talking about the core set now with the 98 cards. One of the interesting things I think with that core set is he formed a relationship with the lovely Julian.
Yes.
Victrix.
Absolutely.
How did that come about? Without going into too much secret detail.
We just loved his stuff. When we were playtesting, we were playing with Victrix Greeks, and we were having a conversation. We went, do you know what? I wonder if Julian would actually let us use his plastics. So we got in touch, and he went, come and see us. So we did, and he said yes.
It really was that simple.
Yeah.
You know, Victrix do some lovely plastics, and they had plastics for all the major troop types. And that was it. That was the selling point, really, wasn't it?
Yeah, for us.
So we jumped it, like Mark says, we jumped in a car, we drove up to see him. We spent a day with him. He showed
Were you
us.
in Cheshire or were you in one of his chateaux?
Oh no, we were all the way up in Kendal.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Yeah. So we went all the way up to there, and he was just really accommodating.
Yeah, it was.
You know, and you know, it was a very, very easy partnership.
And that's sort of come out because I guess the war games industry can be quite a small and supportive community rather than being this megalithic, we're all fighting for the same dollar sort of situation.
We're all about raising everybody up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, so I'd prefer us all to succeed. And as we said to Julian at the time, why do we need to make Greeks? Why your Greeks are lovely. Why would we have to make any? Let's just use yours.
Yeah.
But you have made some metal character models, haven't
Of
you?
course.
And are they in the core set or are they in the expansion sets?
So what we've done is we've, as you've seen from the cards, they're really well illustrated. Mr. Beckett has done a great job of illustrating the cards, getting a real feel in a small space. So what we've done is a range of figures that complement the cards. So if you want a particular heavily armed Lochagos and you want the guy that's on the card, you can buy the guy who's on the card.
Right.
So that's what we've done. So we've done things that will complement the plastics and also giving it the feel from the game. So if you wanted to have all 98 cards with all of those troops all looking like the cards, you could do that.
Right.
So that's why we've done a metal range to support it. But with Julian's Victrix range of Greeks, we haven't had to do much to bring it on to the next level. So we have done things like with Julian's Greeks, he covers a wider period of history, say, so where he's got different helmet types and different things that'll go from early Greek period up to almost like the Macedonian period. And so some of our guys, we know what they'll want, the classic Greek helmets, Corinthian helmets and stuff. So we've done resin helmets that will fit perfectly on top of that and that kind of thing. So it's all about complementing a core set, but also giving it the flavour of the game. So if you want the guy off the card, you can buy the guy off the card.
But in the Spartan and the
I was going to come on to those.
Athenian supplements, they do have metal characters.
So we looked at those earlier, and those Athenian Spartan supplements, the boxes you've got here. So is that when somebody decides that they want to actually theme their force around a particular group? So you've got Athenians, you've got Spartans, Persians, am I right?
We have Persians,
And what else?
Well, there's quite a few that we can go at, Luckily, again, Julian has Thracians. We'd love to do a Thracian set. They would be next. Yeah. We've also done some Thracian Peltas all ready to come. We've got a Thracian character to lead them. Well, we've got two, haven't we?
Yeah, two.
And he's bonkers, the chap we've done. And in his instance, like in the Athenian and the Spartan boxes, they'll be named characters. So you can take them to lead your force, and they will have a specific figure and a specific card, or there's a generic one. But it really, we have a plan to do about 10 sets, but it depends obviously on how it goes in the community, So we've started with the Spartans and the Athenians because they are the dichotomy, really. And what people will do is they'll probably choose one of those and go underneath it, or some Persians, or just keep the course set and it's a complete mercenary force.
I think one of the things I've noticed, and earlier when Andy quoted Homer, is you've done your research as well.
Yes.
Do you think that's the important part? It's not just churning out the product, it's actually researching the information.
Totally. Otherwise, it's just another game with figures and dice.
Yeah.
You know, you need to get that flavour. And I have read some classics. However, we've been helped a lot by a shade from the underworld. We've had this chap called Fatis come up, and he knows his stuff.
Oh yes.
And he's been writing on our blog about background in character.
Yeah.
And he's provided a lot of interesting stuff that we knew nothing about.
No.
And we tried to take that and capture it. We've even created him as a character in the game. So it's kind of tongue in cheek, but it's good fun.
Yeah, but we have done, a lot of reading. Amazon loves us, must love us, because the amount of books that
I think the big thing for me is, I love samurai.
Mm-hmm.
That's why we did Test of Honor. I mean, that's really my thing. However, for a Western audience, these and Romans are really where it's at. Everybody knows about the myths and the Greek
legends,
heroes and Spartans and all of that kind of thing. So there's a lot. It's quite ready to get that background and that information, right. And we've tried to tap into that. Yeah. And we are very respectful of history, but I'm still very much rule of cool. Mm-hmm. So we wouldn't do something which was like outrageous that they'd pitchforks and torches at my house.
Yeah.
However, we would kind of be a bit loosey-goosey with history to make it a better game. Yeah. So that's really where we're coming from.
So somebody will say to you at some point, "Why aren't you doing Jason the Argonauts and a whole load of?"
No, we are. Good segue. We've already started work on a mythic supplement, right. Which we're hoping to get out at the end of the year.
Yeah.
We have some beautiful monsters already done.
There's 4.
I don't want to say anything about that because we'll share it. But the problem is people will get they'll think that Mortal Gods is all about the mythic stuff, and it isn't. It's more about this idea of the Peloponnesian War and Greeks fighting Persians fighting Thracians, all that kind of thing. However, what the idea with a mythic is, it will add on to it. And we'll create it'll all be Harryhausen because that's my childhood, and we'll do all the Hydra, and we'll do Medusa, and we'll do the Cyclops, and we'll do all of those real great characters. So that's the plan for later in the year. Yeah, and it'll all hang off this engine.
Right. So right back at the start when I first arrived, did the classic war games thing is by saying what's next. So here I am at that lovely point where I can say to you, right, so you're going to do a mythic supplement. What's next? Not just for this game, or in general.
Sleep at the moment. You've caught us at a time where we're
twixt projects.
We are between. Well, we're packing this to start shipping it next week, and we've had a lot of orders. We've virtually sold out of our initial print run, which is just taken us a bit by surprise. Yeah. We've ring-fenced about 300 copies for Salute, but we think they'll go, right. And then we'll have to reprint, which is brill. So more of this, and we've got about 50 odd figures, metal figures to come out, or we got the range done for this year. I said to Mark I wouldn't do anything else,
but he lied.
So there's a couple of things we're working on, I'd like to do a kung fu game, is what I'd like to do. Everybody was kung fu fighting, but very old school wushu versus Shaolin. I've got a great idea for that, which I about a month ago I couldn't sleep, so I got up and wrote it, and so that's ready to go. Okay. But bar play testing and all of that business. So watch this space for that one. And I think we could do more with this mechanic. Yeah. So I'm desperate to do Baron's Wars. That's my thing.
What Dan mentioned.
Yeah, desperate to do it, and we're a Dark Age company. I'm sure I say this every time we see you. Why aren't we doing a Dark Age game? So I think we'll be doing something around that.
Okay. Well, thank you very much, the artists formerly known as Warbanner, now to be known as Dark Peak. Thank you very much, guys.
You're very welcome.
This video has been produced by WI Prime. WI Prime is Wargames Illustrated Magazine's online members club. As a WI Prime member, you get access to all Wargames Illustrated videos before anyone else. We'll keep you posted on what's new via the Primetime News Bulletin delivered to your inbox every Friday. If you're not a WI Prime member, you're missing out on loads of benefits, including access to the Wargames Illustrated Vault, freebies, discount vouchers, PDFs of the latest magazine, and more. Find out more about WI Prime by following the link.